The icy dawn crept slowly over the eastern border of France, painting the landscape in muted shades of silver and blue. A thick blanket of fog rolled across the pine-covered hills, curling around the trunks like ghostly fingers. The world felt still, almost sacred, as if holding its breath for what was to come. At the edge of a rugged valley, Caporal Julien Moreau stood, feeling the sharp wind brush against his face. Beneath the scars and dust that marked his felon combat uniform, he carried the familiar weight of duty, a weight he had never once tried to escape. Julien had served 4 years. But every mission carried the same truth. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to face it. This was a lesson forged in the crucible of countless patrols, peacekeeping missions, and tense standoffs. He had learned that bravery wasn't a sudden, heroic burst of emotion. It was a quiet, steady resolve that you built every single day. And looking a younger soldier in the eye to give them the strength they needed to face the unknown. He noticed the way the birds had fallen silent, the unnatural stillness in the air. Around him, his young comrades whispered among themselves, their nerves tightly wound. You could see it in their clenched jaws and the way their eyes darted towards the tree line. They were good soldiers, well-trained and brave, but the weight of this mission was heavy. Julien, sensing their tension, moved between them, offering not grand speeches, but small, personal gestures. A reassuring nod to one, a quiet word of encouragement to another, a firm pat on the shoulder. Stay focused. Trust your training. Trust each other, he said, his voice low but firm. He reminded them of their drills, of the hours they had spent preparing for this very moment. He was their anchor, a calm center in a brewing storm. His own heart beat a steady rhythm, a testament to the control he had mastered over his own fear. He knew fear was a tool. It kept you sharp, it kept you alive, but you could never let it take control. The calm shattered without warning. The air, once still, was ripped apart by the high-pitched whine of approaching drones. A swarm of them buzzed overhead like metallic hornets, their cameras scanning the French positions. Almost immediately, the dense tree line erupted with gunfire. Muzzle flashes flickered like angry fireflies in the dim morning light. The earth trembled as explosions tore through the valley, sending shock waves through the air. The symphony of battle had begun, chaotic and deafening. Positions. Spread out move, Julien shouted, his voice cutting through the rising panic like steel. It was a command born of instinct and authority, and it worked. The younger soldiers, who had been on the verge of freezing, snapped into action. They clung to Julien's commands as to a lifeline, their training kicking in. He was a master of battlefield geometry, seeing not just the chaos, but the patterns within it. He guided them with the precision of a man who had fought too many battles to waste a single moment or a single life. He directed 2 soldiers to take the left flank, using a rocky outcrop for cover. And he himself advanced toward the center, the most dangerous pathway he had spotted. A French medic pinned down under a relentless hail of fire. The medic was trying to reach a wounded soldier, but was completely exposed. Bullets cracked past Julien, some so close he could feel their heat as they sliced through the air. They shaved splinters off tree trunks and kicked up puffs of dirt at his feet. But he didn't run in a straight line. He zigzagged through the chaos, using every dip in the terrain, every fallen log, every shadow for cover. He moved like a phantom, his body low to the ground. He dove behind a fallen log, the impact jarring his bones. He steadied his breath, ignoring the adrenaline thundering in his ears. His shots were aimed not to kill, but to suppress, to force the enemy to keep their heads down just long enough. It worked. The incoming fire lessened for a few precious seconds, and the medic scrambled to the safety of a ditch, pulling the wounded soldier with him. Then came the moment that would be etched into the memory of everyone who witnessed it. A grenade, a dark, deadly sphere, arced through the air. It landed with a soft thud in the dirt, only feet from another wounded soldier who was struggling to get to his feet. Time seemed to slow. The world narrowed to that single, terrible object and the young man beside it. Julien didn't think. With a surge of strength, he grabbed the soldier by the thick webbing of his vest and dragged him backward into a shallow trench. They landed in a heap just as the grenade detonated. The blast roared, a deafening wave of force that threw a shower of dirt, smoke, and burning fragments into the sky. A searing pain shot through him, but he did not falter. He didn't even cry out. He shielded the injured man with his own body, his focus entirely on protecting his comrade. "Stay with me," he grunted, his voice strained but steady. "Just breathe. We're okay." He held him there until the rain of debris subsided and the immediate danger passed. Reinforcements arrived moments later, their arrival signaled by the reassuring thunder of heavy machine guns and the sight of more French soldiers advancing on the flanks. They were drawn forward by Julien's incredible bravery and the unspoken fire he carried. Seeing their corporal refuse to yield, seeing him put his life on the line without hesitation, ignited a fresh wave of determination in them. With renewed strength, the French soldiers pushed forward, their movements coordinated, their fire precise. They fought with a unity that the enemy could not match. He was the tip of the spear, directing fire, pointing out targets, and pushing his unit to victory. At last, the valley fell silent. The gunfire ceased, replaced by the distant echo of retreating footsteps and the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind. The rising sun, now fully free of the clouds, washed the battlefield with a warm golden light. Smoke drifted like fading ghosts among the trees, carrying the bitter scent of the fight. And there, standing at the ridge with his arm bleeding and his uniform torn, was Caporal Julien Moreau. He looked out over the land he had fought to protect, the forests, the hills, the villages just visible beyond, and allowed himself a single deep breath of relief. It was a breath that carried the weight of the battle, the sorrow for the cost, and the profound gratitude for survival. His comrades gathered around him, their faces a mixture of exhaustion, admiration, and profound gratitude. Words were not necessary. They looked at the gash in his arm, at the calm in his eyes, and they understood the depth of his sacrifice. Behind them, the French flag raised at their makeshift command post fluttered softly in the breeze. Its colors blue, white, and red seemed brighter in the morning sun. Julien did not need medals or speeches. The peace he saw returning to the land, the knowledge that those families in the villages were safe, was his reward. He had done what he always did, stand between danger and the innocent, with unshakable courage and a heart dedicated to France. And as long as he lived, he knew he would continue to do so. It was not just his job, it was who he was. Thank you for watching this story of incredible bravery. If you are moved by the courage of Caporal Moreau, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of heroes who walk among us.